In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
Firstly, at the start of the process, my group and I negotiated various genres in which we could make our film, until eventually coming to the conclusion of a hybrid, whereby we combine the two popular genres action and thriller, as we felt these genre of films the most successful in the film industry, further conveyed by our product research, doing deconstructions which enable us to analyse certain action thrillers films, and highlighting key features in which we would like to use our film. The surveys enabled us to gauge a sense of our target audience, his favourite genre, and then we therefore capitalised on that. According to the brief, the task set was to produce the opening 2 minutes to a film that we had created. Due to this, in our deconstructions, we only analysed the openings to popular action thriller films, as this is stuff relevant to include in our own film. Throughout the process, we deconstructed films such as Man on Fire, Final Destination, Hollywood blockbuster films, from all categories. When analysing these films, we were particularly inspired by the opening chase scene of Casino Royale. However, when planning our film, we gathered that it would be highly unlikely and extremely difficult to interpret this and to kind of follow it through, given the special effects there. A recurring feature that we noticed among the films was the fast-paced cuts in order to create tension. This is seen in Man on Fire, when the main character gets shot, and also close-up of defining characters to emulate their facial expression. And due to the genre, it portrays to the audience how scared they actually are. Therefore, we took this into consideration, and we thought the fast cuts was crucial in order to kind of go about making a thriller, because a thriller is all about thrilling the audience, and that's what we intend to do. Where are we? To also capture the tension, we include fast-paced music at the appropriate moments of the film, much like Casino Royale, when a chase occurs. The fast-paced music helps to create tension in a similar way. Yeah, that's all I can.
So, how does your media product represent particular social groups?
Throughout our film, we felt that it was crucial the audience understood what each other's role was in order to keep the story flowing. Importantly, we needed to make sure that the audience understood that our main character was an ex-MI5 agent. I don't think that we made this clear at all throughout the film, where there'd been no mention about the word MI5. Therefore, without reading the synopsis of the film, the audience are made unaware of what this character's role is very early. However, the audience can infer that he's part of an environment that requires a level of professionalism. Due to his smart attire, dressed in a suit and tie, wearing a long black coat and holding a briefcase, which is a common stereotype of a man looking smart in a mainstream film, such as Taken. We felt that this is so often the case. In fact, we actually we took a long time defining this costume, because without its opening 2 minutes, it's hard for the audience to gauge a sense of what the film's going to be. So you have to be very specific in your character profiles. In the thought process of our film, we originally decided to have an opening caption giving a brief outline about corrupt MI5 agents, therefore giving a summary of what his life character entails before the film actually begins. However, when producing the final cut to our film, we realised this was much too long. Therefore, having spoken to my team, we agreed not to include the caption at the beginning, as we felt that all of the footage was more important to include, and this was reinforced by outside views when we showed it to friends and critics. We found it difficult to make his daughter look vulnerable, as this is something that only she could act out. However, to enhance this, we decided to dress her in a onesie, because this would show that our film is up to date with modern society. However, when screening the first draft of the film to an audience, the majority found the idea of her in a onesie was amusing. Sorry, I'm just a bit blocked up here. Which therefore decreased the seriousness of the film. So if we were to redo the film, we would dress her in more appropriate clothing that fits certain stereotypes. Because mainstream films today use stereotypes in order to make their films successful, and we're trying to mirror this.
So what kind of media institution might distribute your media product, and why would they do this, Alex?
Yeah. Well, we're discussing what company we choose to distribute our film. We looked at two distribute the film in which we were heavily looking at, which is Taken. That's what we modelled our film on, and therefore we thought if we're going to model our film on it, then we model all aspects of it. And that was 20th Century Fox. And they distribute numerous Hollywood blockbusters. And we felt that this was key to the success of our film if they were already distributing successful films. Another way to enhance our chances of making our film successful is the budget. Spending more money creating it in order to make the film as professional as possible, and this is important. I could definitely see what the money was spent on in order to make the film as successful as possible. Looking at Taken, we tried to model as well our budget on it. We felt that in order to have the same special effects, etc., then we would have to spend the same amount of money. Due to the large budget spent on our film, we decided that we would release our film on general release, screening at many multiplex cinemas as possible in order to attract a large number of people into seeing our film. Our reasons for screening our film in multiplex cinemas is due to the genre of the film and the budget of our film, as our house cinemas only screen low-budget independent films. That's not actually true, sorry. They do screen blockbusters, but it's not very popular in those kind of cinemas. We gathered from our market research that Taken went to 24.7 million in its opening weekend, almost breaking even within the budget spent on the film, and therefore it shows a successful film, and therefore we want to replicate this.
So, having said that, who would be the audience for your media product?
Well, when first discussing our audience for our film within our group, we decided that we wanted it to appeal to a wide range of audiences, as you would, in order to make more money, and not just for our own age group. Due to the film being largely mainstream, we chose to aim our film at 16 to 25-year-olds. Not specifically, and not kind of pinpoint on that and not going elsewhere. But it is an action thriller, and our survey showed that this was popular for this age group. In our opinion, it is that an action film focuses more on the special effects and the action which is actually happening on screen, which would appeal to a much wider range of people. In comparison to other film genres where it's more of an acting audience who enjoy a specific storyline, e.g. romance, which would appeal to the majority of women, and less on kind of story and less on men. However, due to our surveys that we created, the general response that we gathered was that in fact 25 to 40 and 40 to 60 year olds enjoy action thriller films, and therefore this proved encouraging when aiming to appeal our film to an even wider audience. So it's not specific. Just to add this in, films such as Taken, which we're looking at, have an average age rating of 18, and we've decided to lower the violence of the film to give us a wider audience, from teenagers 15 plus, or 15, are able to go and see our film at the cinema. Therefore, the reference to the BBFC, which is Certificate Association, we decided to make our film a certificate of 15.
So, how did you attract your audience?
When attracting an audience, at the first instance, we were struggling on a way to do this until we came across a website called SurveyMonkey, which allowed us to create a survey within our own chosen questions, and we were able to send it out to different groups of people, and was even able to put it on the survey on social networks such as Facebook and Twitter in order to get even more responses. And this is key because we know social network is so important these days. So many people use it, but it's almost instantaneous to get our feedback, and that's vital. Doing the survey allowed us to think carefully about what questions we need to find out from the audience in pre-production, such as their favourite genre of film, favourite films, what they wanted to see in our films, etc. Having analysed all of our responses, we had a clear understanding about what the audience wanted to see, and so now we all had to do is do some product research into successful films, like we did Taken, and that's what we ended up modelling our film on. Excuse me, I'm bugged out. So yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. What have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing this product?
We've learned a lot about technology, that's for sure. Well, I'm new to film, so when first introduced to this project, we were told that we had to create a blog on the computer to record our step-by-step process into making our film, such as pre-production, post-production and production. Having neither made a blog before and aware that we had a very tight deadline to complete for our pre-production, it was apparent that I had learned how to blog reasonably quickly. We ended up using WebNode and WordPress, I believe it was, and it differed between the group. Whatever, we do a single blog, so whatever you wanted to do, you did whatever you found easier. But both websites are extremely helpful and extremely helpful for the audience looking at the blog. They're very neat, they're very well laid out, and it's simple. So yeah, that's very useful. But by using the program on a regular basis, it became a lot more simple to use. It was a little bit complicated at first, but you got the hang of it. And what I particularly liked about it was that we could choose our own theme and make it look how we wanted to, which made it more enjoyable to us and therefore neater to the audience. Also, the majority of people working on the film, we edited it on Windows Movie Maker. And I hadn't used Windows Movie Maker before, and it was tough. Some groups use iMovie, but we felt that it was important to use Windows Movie Maker. I also learned, I've got an Apple MacBook, I should add this in. I also learned how to convert from Windows Movie Maker onto Apple MacBook to put it on iMovie, and that was important because we needed to convert, and it showed. I'd never done this before, and I've learned how to convert on different platforms. That will be very useful when it comes to making a film, without a doubt. And of course, simple film editing, shooting. Our knowledge of cinematography has thoroughly increased since we started this, and I feel now that I'm 100 times more able to make films than I used to.
Oh, okay, so I believe you did a preliminary task. What do you feel that you have learned in the progression from it to the full product?
Yeah. Well, this enabled us to get kind of a gorgeous sense of what it was about at the start. This kind of helped us in our thing. Back at the beginning of the year, we were given a preliminary task whereby we had to create a short film entitled Daydream. We were allowed to interpret that title in any way, but the aim of the task was to practice using software and get an understanding about time management and the work when it came to the real AS coursework project. So that was important. The fundamental downfall in our group was that we were more focused on actually making the film rather than doing the planning for it, such as deconstructors, team minutes. Therefore, when it came to the actual AS project, we kind of rectified this. We knew that in order to make a good film, we had to spend a lot of time on the planning, the pre-production, and that was vital. And that's kind of where we changed as a group. There was a learning curve. We learned a little bit about the software, about cinematography, but overall, our AS film is far superior to that of the preliminary task. Thank you.
Alright, thank you very much, Alex. I admire your work very much, and
Cheers.
you are a brilliant director, but thank you for spending time with us.
Thanks, John. Thanks, John.
Thank you very much.